Committee on Finance.
Gentleman from Henrico, Mr. Massie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 131 is the Senate version of House Bill 321, Educational Improvement Scholarships, patroned in this House by Delegates Algie, Hal, Tal, Greason, and myself, and which passed this House with 64 votes on February 14th. Mr. Speaker, over the last 3 years, I have spoken with each member of this House, many of you multiple times, with respect to this legislation. And all of you have been extremely gracious with your time and input. The system works, and for that, I am extremely grateful. And for that, I'm also going to be brief today because we all know this issue. But there are two improvements, Mr. Speaker, in Senate Bill 131 that were not in the House bill. And Mr. Speaker, if educational improvement scholarships are good public policy, then expanding who can give and who can receive is also good public policy. And SB 131 accomplishes both of those. Number one, it expands who can donate to individuals as well as corporations. And number two, it expands who can receive the scholarships from families, children with incomes of approximately 200% of current poverty guidelines to 300% and up to 400% for families with disabled children. Mr. Speaker, I also want to address the fiscal impact. There are some down the hall who are trying to use this bill as a fig leaf for not voting for our House budget today, in that they're claiming that the bill has a negative fiscal impact. Each one of you has received an email this morning from me and had on your desk this chart that the gentleman from James City County is holding up next to me. With respect to this tax credit legislation, Mr. Speaker, we must learn and benefit from the 8 other states that already have similar legislation in place and be willing to think outside the typical fiscal impact tax credit box. 8 other states have similar legislation in place, and many of them give 90 to 100% tax credits, while we're proposing a 70% tax credit. In all of these states, the legislation has proven to be revenue positive for the state. Florida gives a 100% tax credit, awards unlimited amounts of credits, and is saving approximately $40 million a year. And this chart shows how that can be. For every $100,000 donated, it costs the state $70,000. 90,000 of those dollars have to go for scholarships. The state, and the maximum amount of those scholarships is state share of the SOQ. So the state saves 90,000 when it only costs 70,000. This bill is revenue positive. The only way, it is mathematically impossible for the bill to be revenue positive only in one way. That is, you award the tax credits without giving the scholarships. And in all 8 other states, that's never been a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your time. I thank everybody. And again, Virginia has wonderful public schools. And, Mr. Speaker, I would move and hope to be the pleasure of the House to pass Senate Bill 131. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.